Doc is back. Welcome to Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis, hosted by Tyrone Robertson. Join Doc and his guests as they discuss healthcare and the Caribbean community every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on caribcast.tv, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and most other popular podcast platforms.
I didn't grow up here, but Broward County has become home to me. This is where I settled. I raised my family here and started my practice here. For over 20 years, I've represented my neighbors, people who needed help in a stressful time. If you find yourself in need of an attorney, reach out to someone you can trust, someone with a proven track record.
When a car accident or personal injury sets you back, call Scott McCullough.
954-989-3435. Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. This is our very first Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis for the year 2021.
Right.
Doc.
Hey, I ain't no about happy, I know about New Year.
You know about New Year, but not so much about the happy.
Not so much about the happy. Yeah. It's the loneliest New Year celebration I have. Me, myself, and I.
Why I tell you?
Because the missus fast asleep.
And no party.
Nothing. We even tried to organize a little dinner, but in the end, just our part. But in the end, it was too difficult.
Yes.
I think that it's time for us to wake up now and stop complaining about how hard it is and get ready for the new reality in America. In all aspects of life, your children education, your health, your workplace, all of that. Believe me, a lot of these things that are taken as temporary now is probably going to get permanent with time.
Yes.
Right? And again, the reason I'm bringing it up, we don't want to be left behind.
Not at all.
Sitting down waiting for it to go back to how it's been. And we're going to get left behind. It's not going to be like that anymore. So I am preparing myself in health. How do I do it? I've been researching and reading up what are the changes that's been going on in the healthcare industry. And we are focused so much on insurance.
Right.
I'm not talking about the amount of care you get, but how it's delivered.
Correct.
It's going to be a completely different thing because... for instance, this office I have here is going to be considered a Taj Mahal. Nobody's going to have big offices like this anymore.
Not necessary.
We are finding out it's not necessary because we can't afford it.
Yes, well, that too.
Yeah, we're not making any money,
too.
so we have started looking at a different way. And I think you're going to find the amount where we're going to practice are going to be in smaller offices.
Yes. Well, overall,
square feet. Yeah.
Overall, I think that all types of businesses, just everything that we're doing in our everyday life.
Because the whole idea now is to cut costs.
That's right.
And one of the most expensive costs for medicine, I don't know about other people, is rent.
Yes.
You'll be surprised the amount of money we pay for these things. And I guess we used to say before, people believe doctors making money. So the same square footage that when you go down 10 miles down the road into a different area is about a quarter of what you pay. Like me in the finer part of town, I'm in Plantation. I'm not even in Fort Lauderdale proper. So everybody's going to be downsizing.
Yes.
So the way it's delivered, and by the way, I now that I'm forced into looking at this, and this is what people have to do, I think. For instance, almost everybody I know doing part or all of the work at home.
Mm-hmm.
My children.
That's correct.
So everybody complain, but I'm saying, listen, no matter what complain, adjust.
Get with it.
Because whether you like it or you don't like it, a lot of work is going to be done at home. And by the way, the country is moving in that direction anyway.
Yeah.
The pandemic just make it more likely. So all of you out there think in terms of the fact, whether you own your business or you work for people,
you'll be working remotely.
Exactly. Why we have the technology and we are realizing, oh my God, why do I need a big office like this?
Yeah.
I mean, The important thing is talking to the patient, using my brain to figure out what I think is happening, and then do some testing. What is going to happen is going to save me because cost is going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to do that because insurance payments are moving nowhere. The only way I can make a profit is less overhead.
Of course.
All right? So it's going to be, downsizing is going to be good for me from an economic standpoint. It'll be good for the patient because I suspect that about maybe half or more of the visits you do each year is going to go away, right? And let me explain to you probably how this works. People might be saying, oh, what is he talking about? If you look at how diagnoses are made, right, is that you take a history from the patient. A history is a story. Just like when FBI bring you in and they're talking to you, it's a story. Tell me what's wrong with you. Right? And we listen. And then we form a little map in our head. What direction is this thing going? This story that this person is telling me. For instance, a woman come in, doc, my periods were regular, but all of a sudden it stopped and they come in erratic. Right away, that hits a bell in my head that the possibilities could be this. You add to it age, you add to it ethnicity, whether it's black or white. I'm now getting a clearer picture of what is. By the time she's finished talking to me, even before I touch her, I have an idea what the diagnosis may well be. It doesn't mean I'm right.
Right.
But so now I have to go and prove my diagnosis. And how I do that? We use lab, we use imaging, to put all of that together to see, not to find out what's wrong with them. People think ultrasound and think tells me diagnosis. They don't. They either verify what I think or they poo-poo it.
Okay.
Right? If they poo-poo it, I have to say, whoops, let me backtrack
Right.
and take another road. That's why I tell people CSI. I like that show because it's medicine. We use bacteria instead of the big criminals with gun. But it's a searching thing. Where they use their DNA, I use ultrasound. Where they use this, I use. So and the point is, the diagnosis is in my head. It's not in any single exam that I do, right?
So if I were to say, then it's a combination of process and knowledge.
Yes.
Yes.
And we confirm whether you're right or not by examination most of the time and imaging.
Right.
But the diagnosis is made in my head. It doesn't come from an ultrasound. It doesn't come from an x-ray. Any blood work never make a diagnosis to me. I have an idea what it is, and then I prove it. When it comes back, if it show, hell, I'm wrong, say, Jesus, let me backtrack. Then I may want to examine to help. Point I'm making, many times I only do a physical exam as almost a courtesy. It could help.
So let me ask this then, Doc. So doing this remote telemedicine visits now, are there any types of visual exams that can be done through that medium?
It depends on your specialty.
Okay.
Dermatology for sure.
Right.
Take a picture of the mole or whatever it is. OBGYN is kind of hard.
Right.
Because when you do a vaginal exam, you can't take a picture inside of the vagina.
Of course.
You understand? When our picture taking tool is ultrasound, not a camera.
Right.
So, but can patient take a picture of a bump in the pubic area? Certainly. There are some things, but they being able to send a photo to a physician. Some specialties, it's very easy to do, many not.
Okay.
For instance, no matter where you take, you can't tell anything about a baby floating around in a bed.
Of course.
Right. So what is going to be, though, some of the visits, let me tell you how we do it now. You come, you give me a story, I examine you, then I send for blood work and imaging. It's going to be reverse. You talk to me, I formulate something in my head, I say, hey, you need an x-ray or you need some blood work, I'm going to send the request to the imaging center. I'm going to send it to Quest or one of the blood work. When I get it back, I'm going to look at it, call you, talk to you. By this time, I would have examined you at least twice. You would have had to leave work, come, I examine you, send it away, come back. So we'll be saving the patient, first of all, the exam. We'll be cutting out. Secondly, though, more important, the time that they take to leave their job, to come here and sit down and wait for me for hours, could be done on a telephone. Why haven't we done it before? The insurance company would not pay for it. You had to be visually present. Now, because of the pandemic, all of that has changed. We can do telemedicine, and they will pay for it. So it's better for the patients. They don't have to leave work or the children or the home to come for and sit in a doctor's office for hours. And by the way, now we could streamline our exams. Because understand now, I'm talking to the patient, I'm being paid for that. I don't have to fill up my office with nobody. Then I say, okay, maybe I need to examine 1 out of every 10 patients. Then only one person will come to my office at a specific time. I could really set it up so you wouldn't waste time in doctors' offices. By the way, they have been doing this for years in places like California with the rich and famous. It was a kind of concierge type of medicine, but now it's coming down. We are realizing we are wasting patient time, and time is money.
Of course.
Right? We are fitting me with a big overhead to have this 6 exam room where I only need 1. Right? I have to pay a bunch of people to draw blood, to sit down, all of that. I could send you directly to the laboratory. I could send you directly. You don't need to come here to pick up a request to go somewhere. So that's how it's going to be streamlined. The doctor, it's going to be better for me, right? Because I'm being paid now for a service that I wasn't paid before.
Right.
That's why we never call people with the results.
And then, again, on behalf of listeners, I'll ask this. Is there any change in the quality of healthcare that is going to be delivered through this medium?
I think it wouldn't affect it. Quacks will still be quacks and good doctors will still be good quacks. It's just how you manage time.
Right.
It doesn't have anything to do with the intellect that goes into the diagnosis. There's nothing. If a patient come here to a Dumbo, he's still a Dumbo whether you talk to him on the phone or here. So the quality of the doctor is not going to change.
Right.
What you will find is time would be now managed much better than it has before. And I'm guilty. I was one of the slowest doctors in the world. You come sit down in my office sometime.
That's because you take time with the patient.
But now I could do it on the phone.
Yes.
I could do it in a lunch hour. She could come out during the lunch break, go on a bench somewhere, and me and she talk. She don't lose the day's work. Or if she have to pick up her children at 3, she could talk to me while she waiting for the children outside. You understand? So we'll be managing time. It's not going to affect the quality of care. It's not going to make it better. It's not going to make it worse. Gotcha. It's just the time allotment will be better for the patients.
And as a patient,
right?
When I go to see my doctors, my goodness.
Me too, and I'm a doctor and I know them.
Yes.
I carry my book and my eye doctor, a good guy, I sit down with a bunch of old folks like me and then I'm saying, oh my God. But I learn. I carry my little magazines and I read.
Yes,
I take the whole lot.
So
I think that's what makes me real excited. That with telemedicine, patients will be able to manage their time much better. There's a lot of time that's lost in getting good health care.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
And they can now retrieve this. It'll be less pressure on me.
Yes.
Because I have less overhead. You understand? When I studying to make this man rent and thing where I rent here from, that is the important part of it.
And the other thing, I strongly believe that from what I've seen with this so far, it helps with the questions and the consultation
Yes.
and the
I'll be able
the
to
story,
do it easier
the
because
story that
again,
you-
I have more time.
Correct.
Right? And of course, I have to go to school. I have to get you guys to teach me. A tremendous amount of this is going to be done online.
Oh, yes.
That means you make your appointments online.
Yes.
You could go online and look at your own labs while I'm talking to you.
Yes.
We're going to have portals where you could put down your history and privately, and only
HIPAA
me
compliance
and only
and all
me
of
and
that.
you see it.
That's correct.
Right? When normally the girls have to ask you all your questions in front of other people who could hear. Now, the privacy will be a lot better.
Yes.
And the more private patients are, the more likely they are to give you sensitive information.
And share more with them.
Correct. So I'm looking, by the way, thank God for this. Every time I patient, oh God, Dr. Alexis will retire and leave us. With this format, I don't have to retire.
Okay.
I just need to downsize.
All right.
And I can downsize now. I don't have to kill myself.
So, ladies.
So I'm going to continue working for a while, but in a different type of, and I'm nervous. I'm anxious to see how it's going to work.
All right.
You know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break and then we'll be right back to Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis.
Dr. Ronald Moore and his team at Minimally Invasive Surgery perform laparoscopic robotic procedures with the utmost precision. As a bariatric surgery specialist, Dr. Moore performs a range of surgeries and operations focusing on areas and organs of the abdomen. For gastric sleeve, bypass, and banding, to endoscopic balloon and hernia procedures, call the Office of Minimally Invasive Surgery at 954-797-4220 to schedule your appointment. Minimally Invasive Surgery has 2 convenient Broward County locations to serve you. Call 954-797-4220 to schedule your appointment today.
And we're back to Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis. Doc, so I know a lot of people are anxious and eager to hear about the vaccine, right, or the vaccine options. So give me a little bit of your perspective on the vaccines, and then let's kind of talk about it specifically to our community.
All right, but you know, I'm a very practical. Even when I'm teaching the students and they use all the fancy, I say, listen, man, break that down into ordinary language because I am an ordinary guy.
Right.
I'm a little boy, come from not affluent, well-respected people, but they weren't rich. They were not in the upper echelon of mine. So sometimes I speak in plain language. That's the point I'm making.
Well,
and the easiest to explain the vaccine and how I feel about it, today I got my second one.
Okay.
I'm sorry, yesterday. I had not the first people,
Your
the second. And by the way, you notice our talking are still alive. Right?
So just so I'm clear and just so our listeners know what is going on, all right? This is the community's favorite doctor.
Yeah.
And he went and got the vaccine already. The
Twice.
second dose already. So, all of you who are still naysayers, contemplating not taking the vaccine, take note. And remember a few shows back that you did say
but
you'll be first in line.
And if you know that if I ain't dead after 3 weeks, you know it ain't gonna kill you.
All right.
Because how you mean if I was first in line? You know, but let's be practical, people. It's time for my community to use common sense.
Yes.
All right? And my father always get me with that. He'd say, you go to university, but you have no common sense. And common sense, he thinks, is what is most in the world. I think so. All these stupid stories you're seeing. Do you think doctors are crazy that we're going to take all this thing and it will kill me? What sense would that be?
Yes.
And by the way, we are the experts.
That's right.
We use this every day. I've been talking of rubella vaccine for pregnant women for 50-something years now. I mean, I never seen no woman die from taking rubella. You know, when you're pregnant, you need to have protection against German measles.
Yes.
They're doing like if vaccine is, and now they say, oh, it's a new. It is not new. What a vaccine is simple. to kill viruses, your body have to fight them with something named antibodies. And your body makes it.
Okay.
We have found a way to get your body to make more than it usually does and faster than it usually does. So it boosts up your immunity. It's no strange thing. It's your body making the antibodies. I don't have this thing they injected me anymore. I go under my shop a long time. But my body make them antibodies that going to stay there forever. So COVID-19 can't kill me anymore.
Right.
It's not, you want to hear? Aspirin and Tylenol is more dangerous to the body than a vaccine. Right? You ever see all them things there on TV?
Yes. The
You
side
ever,
effects.
you ever read the
print.
fine? I don't know how people can still use their medicine. Or it could kill you, it could bruise you up, it could mash up your kidney.
Yes.
And yet they go every day and take these medicine.
But then they're talking about these vaccines.
Right, vaccine stimulate your resistance to the disease. It's not the vaccine. The vaccine disappears after a while. And nobody understands what mRNA is. Let me explain to you what mRNA is. There are 20 billion RNA working in your body every day.
Okay.
RNA is the message that your DNA is sending to your parts of your body. The DNA don't come out and do it. It send a messenger. It make a copy of it where it wants your muscle to do. And it send the copy out. It can't send the whole DNA because you're going to lose it.
And there you have your...
So it makes a copy, send it to the muscle. The muscle do what it have to do. That mRNA then die out. And the muscle make the response.
Okay.
And when the muscle want to respond again, the DNA send out what? mRNA is what carries the message from DNA to the organ that it needs to work. It's not a strange substance. mRNA is a piece of DNA, but it's only a part of it.
Right.
A copy. The DNA make a copy. Well, we smart, we make the copy for the DNA on the virus, those spikes. Not the spike itself, we take the mRNA, we make the mRNA. We ain't get it from nowhere, we make it.
All right. So
it ain't coming from the virus. We make it.
I have
and we
questions.
fool your body into feeling that it need to put out tons and tons of antibody. Right. So again, understand things. You know what is disappointing? If you know how much nurses still ain't taking it. My people. I cuss them every day in the hospital. I tell one of them, listen, I ain't talking to nobody who ain't take the vaccine. Oh, doc, you can't do it. I say, you hear me?
Have any of them given you a compelling reason?
Oh, it's new.
Not?
They don't know about the mRNA. Oh, I ain't want to give it a while. I said, Jesus Christ, I take 2 of them and I'm still standing up. I operated on a lady for 4 hours this morning. I hear shooting the breeze with you.
Yes.
And I go in and play tennis and gym tomorrow.
All right.
What's going on? Listen, let me give you statistics again. Them same people go fly. And the chances of a plane killing you or a car crash killing you is 1 billion times more chance than mRNA vaccine hurting you.
All right. So, first question for this evening. What or how do you, in your opinion, do you think that the existing vaccines will deal with these new strains that they're talking about?
The point is, let me tell you, the only way viruses avoid detection is to change from time to time. Right? That's going to be the problem.
Okay.
So this vaccine is going to be good for this and a few variants, but eventually it's going to mutate where we have to give you another vaccine for that.
Gotcha.
Like we do with the flu. The flu vaccine every year is not the same, you know. They're modified depends on the mutations.
So year over year, the flu vaccine changes?
And year over year, the flu virus change. Why you think we have to go back every year?
No, I understand that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So
So
that
my
makes
problem
sense.
with this is not this one, we're going to take care of this guy. I ain't worried about him.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference with this, normally it don't hit the whole world.
Right, one shot.
Areas of the world
Yes.
it hit. This, and let me tell you, part of it is not the virus. Part of it is how the world has
Responded
changed.
to it.
Look how much, I could be in Bangladesh a day from now. Years ago, you had to travel by a boat for about a month before you could reach it. So these things couldn't spread. Part of the reason why this is a pandemic is not just that the virus spreads a lot, but the way people move in the world.
Right.
Right.
And the way that I guess
Right.
various groups or
Right.
countries or
Right.
wherever responded to it.
Exactly. And like Obama told them 10 years ago, we are worried that the next war is going to be germ warfare.
Yes.
And I ain't talking about the germs. I'm talking about what other countries might shook on us. So you better, I'm glad for this mRNA because you can make the vaccines quicker.
Got
Right? Because somebody, when they attack us, see, they thought it was China. That's what the next war is going to be. People going to make some kind of virus or something to infect a whole damn nation. It's not guns shooting. So people get accustomed to this. And remember, it's RNA. It's not a foreign compound to the human body. It understands RNA. No, it is RNA is working in your body millions of times an hour, carrying message to your eye, carrying message to how to lift your right hand. Is RNA that come from somewhere that go to the muscle until it move.
Okay.
Yeah, you understand? So when you lift weights, how you think your muscle get bigger? Is mRNA tell the muscle to get big? So this thing we talk, mRNA, people doing like it's some strange thing we come up with. It is a normal substance in anybody that has DNA. And that's animals, that's humans. And it's called messenger RNA because it's carrying a message from the DNA to wherever it's want to do a certain something.
All right.
It copy it, the portion of the gene that need to be operation, and then they go to that area and tell them do that. That's all mRNA is. It's not a strange substance.
Next question. So the vaccine, you get the vaccine today, and how long does this vaccine work, or how does that?
We're still working on it. Remember,
Okay.
I told you. And what they're going to do now is eventually they're going to check the antibody formation in 3 months, then 6 months, then a year. And they'll get an idea. Because sometimes the antibody work for a while and then it's cleared from the body.
Okay. So
But different ones clear at different rates.
perfect segue into my next question, which is
Yeah.
actually personal
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
as you may remember, last year, July, I actually got COVID-19.
Right.
And I had a follow-up visit with
Okay.
just my routine checkup.
care.
And I did blood work, and antibodies are still there.
And we need to test you another 3-4 months again.
Okay.
And then we test you a year again. Not necessarily, but I have the guinea pigs
Right.
that they did in the beginning.
Right.
And those are the ones they keep following to see how much going to build up, how long it's going to stay.
Interesting. Now, are those antibodies that I have the same that, let's say, somebody who has gotten the vaccine would
Yes, identical.
have? Okay.
And that's what the mRNA do. It
Interesting.
mimic the one you have.
Okay.
So the antibody they make is identical to yours. In the old days, we would have had to heat the virus so it's inactive. And then inject that in you so your antibody. No, we don't have to do the virus. We take out the mRNA for one spike and we put it's safer.
And what you just said is what that old way of
Yeah.
doing things is what a lot of people are still holding on to, not realizing, realizing the advances in modern medicine
There you
and
go.
science.
We don't use the virus anymore.
And that is the part that I think should be
Should
and
be.
needs to be communicated
You have
to
a
people.
point. You have a point because they think when you get vaccine, they're putting that thing in your
Still,
body. You're not.
Today, somebody mentioned the same thing, and I said
not.
rubbish.
You are not. Years ago, the old flu, what we do wasn't the mRNA. Mm-hmm. But they will take out the little piece of the virus, not the whole thing no more. But now they say the virus at all. We make the mRNA in a lab. That's how good we are.
Boy, I tell you, dog, the message.
And you're right. Again, they need to explain it in common language. Who the hell know what mRNA is? But I tell you something. When I tell them your DNA control everything you do, but the DNA stay in the cell. It ain't coming out. It has to stay their whole life. But it have a decoder called mRNA. It stamp on it, and this say make Tyrone blink. The mRNA come out of the cell, go to your eye and make you blink.
All right.
But the DNA itself does not change. You could copy it and go. It's like a printing press. Mm-hmm. So we don't use the virus. You see them spikes? If you look at the coronavirus, you see a bunch of...
Yes.
It's the mRNA that come out of those spikes that we have learned to make.
Got it.
We don't even use the one from the virus. We make it our own in our lab.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be right back to continue the conversation.
For the absolute best obstetrics and gynecology care, call South Florida OBGYN at 954-452-4377. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Winston Alexis, who has been serving the women of South Florida for over 25 years. Conveniently located in Plantation, Florida, the courteous and professional team at South Florida OBGYN are standing by to assist you. Schedule your appointment today by calling 954-452-4377.
And we're back to Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis. So, Doc.
Yeah.
So, one of the challenges that I have seen, or I am seeing, is with the distribution of these vaccines.
Yeah.
So I'm all for the frontline workers, medical professionals and that, and all for the seniors and so on and so forth. But let me ask you, do you think that there are no younger people outside of those areas I just mentioned that are receiving the vaccine?
Young, old, in between, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. There are groups who have people.
Who know people.
Who's pushing a different agenda from what Fauci and them have.
Okay.
Welcome to the real world. You could talk about all them old people lining up. There's some young, important people, and it's who you know getting this vaccine.
I'm going to use one of your terms or one of your phrases that you said that your father used to say. Politics is everything.
Everywhere and everything.
All right. So
you hit it on the nose.
All right. Yes.
And that's part they're talking about the volume that is not going on, but the ones we already have, there's good reasons why they have not yet gone out. Because self-interest,
of course,
is showing up in all parts. And that's the world. That's America.
I saw an interesting piece today, and I'm sorry I didn't get a little more detail on it. But the gist of the story was that these states and cities that still had local independent pharmacies were doing a better job of getting the vaccine out to the communities than these mega chains.
Doesn't surprise me.
You understand?
Yes.
So, and that's kind of what stemmed my thought on this particular topic as it comes to the distribution of the vaccine.
As a matter of fact, that's the topic we should be on. Right? Why? Well, not why. I know why it's not going the way it was planned.
Yes.
It never does.
Right.
Because once it gets out, then the distribution pattern changes depending on the strength of self-interest groups.
That's right.
Right? And, of course, black people going to be the last. Because we ain't got, even though we are one of the highest risk, we ain't got no pull. Right? They go on TV and talk about, the high risk group. I tell you, I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but the way I went to get vaccinated, me I see no high risk group. I see a bunch of people who are not even physician, administrative people getting it.
Look at that.
And administrative is not one of the requirements. Frontline, yes, the doctors, the nurses. But you think them higher people in the medical system throughout America waiting until the very poor man get his vaccine?
No, not at all.
And the rich and famous, you think they're waiting? Of course not.
And quite frankly, where I'm going with this is that, again, I would like to see, and I would like somebody in our community, so in the Caribbean community, not just here in South Florida where we are, but across the diaspora, to address this and say, listen, we have the ability to distribute this. We have the centers. We have people.
Sure.
We have elected politicians in the cities and in the counties and such. We know how to reach our people.
And we should be lobbying like hell.
Absolutely. When I throw a fete and party, and I get whatever, 500, 1,000, 2,000 people, or you go to the carnival and you have the 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people. So we know how to communicate this.
Exactly.
We know how to coordinate this.
We just need to do it.
That's correct.
Right? And therein lies the problem with us. It's not that we don't have the roads, we don't have the intelligence, we don't have the inability to organize.
Yeah.
And there is something wrong with us that we cannot. We are smart people, as you said. We just have not learned how to get together, how to, and every time, you get me, every time I bring this up, I shake. I see the Polish American Club, the Jewish population is surrounded by what's the name of the Ramat Shalom, what they call it, the temple. Why don't we have why can't our community organize so that and by the way, this is going to be an ongoing issue. If it's not this,
it's going to be something else.
What about the employment?
Yes, there's
people
always
tell
something.
me, Doc, I get the first check, I ain't get the second or third yet. Other people already spend out their second and
That's
third.
right.
Why?
That's right.
Because
Stimulus, PPP, for your loans for your business.
We know how to lobby.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. We need to know how to lobby.
That's what we need to learn.
And there's something we need to know.
We need to learn how to lobby.
We need to let this country know how smart we are, how industrious we are.
And how many of us are here and great contributors to the society.
That's the point I was going to make. But listen to me, nobody ain't going to do it for you.
Yeah.
We have to get up and do. I've been preaching this thing since 1982 when I come here. And we made one or two feeble attempts to see if we could do it. It's time, people.
Yeah.
And let me say, people are watching you, I hear you talking about here. I'm too old, but all the young people have to go ahead.
Well, I appreciate the compliment about the young part. But listen,
I'll help, but I am not into this organizing. It's about time. Let me tell you, and I know what works in. Number one, numbers. Because the first thing numbers tell is converted into votes.
Yes.
And everything is politics.
Yes, that's right.
So the first thing we let them know, instead of hiding in our little, like I hear West Indians, the Jamaicans, they want to go live by no more Jamaican. No. Foolishness. You need to stand up strong and let them know. We got 1 million people of Caribbean American descent. At one time, long time ago, somebody told me between, I think it was West Palm Beach and Perrine or something. When I talk about West Indian, I don't mean born there, like my son is American, but he
Second
is
and
of
third.
Caribbean. Yes.
Second and third generation.
There are a lot of us.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And Trump was only looking for 11,000. If we could have promised him about 10, you'll be surprised how much we get vaccinated. No, but in all seriousness, we need to organize. We need to let the country know how much of us are here, right? And how much we are contributing to the economy, to the culture, to everything else. We have to beat our own drum. Nobody's going to go and find you in America. So we need to organize. And I have a thought that, I tend to watch what successful people do economically.
Right.
And the fact that the Jews, who are a successful group of people in America, surround themselves with their temple.
Mm-hmm.
That's the center. You look at it good. A lot of Jewish friends, everybody talk about the temple and they don't play on Rosh Hashanah and all of them things they play. Maybe our church is a good place.
It could be, because the churches within our respective Caribbean communities here, certainly again in South Florida, because this is where I am, this is the area I know, play a major part in just about everything that is going on in the community.
Of course.
And I'm talking about not specifically just to our Caribbean or our Jamaican or Trinidadian activities, mainstream activities. A lot of this is communicated and disseminated through the church.
Maybe the church need to organize themselves first. Don't be just single individuals. Get together.
You might
Christianity. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm a Catholic, but God is God.
Indeed.
So we need, maybe the first move you guys need to do is get down and sit down and talk to some of our church leaders and see if we can organize the community, not about religion, but becoming a visible part of this country in which we live, because that's who they recognize. That's when you're going to get ahead in this country. Once they believe that you are a productive group of people, and most important, you have votes, and you're smart enough to know that your vote could carry a whole lot of strength in this country.
Right, that's right.
They will lobby you.
Yeah.
And if they lobby you, what that means? Our business going to do better? Our schools going to get better? Mm-hmm. Our church is going to get better, right? So it's not only we singing the song, we got to let them know, as you were saying, right? We got to get up. I think somebody call it branding or something. Mm-hmm. And we need to let the non-Caribbean American people recognize us as having contributed. By the way, Madam Vice President.
Yes.
What about that? Yeah. Colin Powell. What about that? Yeah. So it's not just at this level, even at the highest level. We have been contributing, but nobody even know we exist.
Yeah,
and that's our fault.
Agreed.
Right? And we need to do something. Stop talking and do something about it.
Well, now the truth of the matter, Doc, is that there are several groups that exist. There are several initiatives, right? The challenge that we have, because I've participated in many of them, and I'm still quite active in a few of them. Yeah. The challenge that we face is the individuals. Yeah. And there is just this thing, I don't know how to describe it, this thing, so helping our brother, helping our brethren, whatever, it's second nature to me. Yeah. But for some reason, it isn't to many. Yeah. And I don't understand.
Well, I've read a little bit about the subject of people who have been colonized. Mm-hmm. That means all of Africa, us, India, anywhere that belonged to one of the powers. Part of the plan to be able to colonize us peacefully is to have us not trust each other. It was a plan. They teach us to be wary of the guy over there. or he's trying to take something away from you. So a guy wrote a book on it, I can't remember, that what we're looking at here, look at Africa, hasn't gone anywhere.
Right.
Colonized country.
Right.
That it developed a sort of, the people that they cultivated was ones who were not subservient to them, not only that, but distrust each other.
Gotcha.
And that we have to fight.
Well, that seems to be the basis of the challenges that we're having to get folks to participate.
Right.
Because again, there are organizations, there are initiatives. Yeah. As a matter of fact, in one of our upcoming shows, I'm going to have somebody from one of these organizations join us to talk about it.
Listen, we had an idea a little while back, Tyrone, and I still think it's a good idea. You have to think out this thing. We can't just use old methods and standards. We have to think new. One of the things I think we need here is Caribbean, English-speaking Caribbean American. We need each country to have their own organization.
Okay.
And then we have a union.
Okay.
Where we meet 4 times a year. Right? Because I was in one called Caribbean Association with Trinidad and Jamaica. Oh my God.
All right.
The Trinidadians fighting against the Jamaicans. The Jamaican calling my people small island people. But it's a good idea. The Jamaican community can organize themselves. The Trinidad, the Antigua, there's nothing wrong with that. But we have an overall governing body.
Therein lies the problem.
Listen, this sounds like almost federation. Yeah. Where we had a chance to federate, which would have been the best thing for the Caribbean.
Absolutely.
Maybe we need to federate Caribbean people in America. You ever thought of that?
All right, well.
So each group have their own little group, and we have meetings so much times a year. And when something hits, like the pandemic, the overall group
can mobilize.
Right. Well, you know when we came up with that, when which is the one that licked down Jamaica that make all them dish and things Gilbert.
Hurricane Gilbert.
When we were the ones that were getting things to take back, send back to Jamaica, Winston, Barnes, me, all of us. Right? And that's the time I saw where the islands actually got
pulled together. Yes.
Right? And that's what gave us the idea, okay? So maybe it's up to you younger guys to get out there, get the word out that we need to organize, but more importantly, start spreading the word to the rest of America, not Caribbean people.
Right. Mainstream America.
Yeah.
Mainstream
America. We are worth something.
That's right.
Right? We are contributing a lot.
All right.
Right? And get started somewhere. That's what I'm hoping for. Right? And maybe, as you said, we get some people on this show, and who knows, this might. I am going to
organize.
Yeah, might be the start.
Over the next few weeks, we're going to make that happen.
So, mental health is important. And that part we're just talking about is about mental health.
Yes.
Getting yourself together, getting a piece of the pie, organizing, lobbying, all of that could help stress.
All right.
Lessen some of the stresses we have in this country as foreigners. I shouldn't say that one.
No, as Caribbean Americans.
Immigrants. Could I use that word?
All right, you can use that.
Afraid, we could Trump use some word there. Immigrant is still a good word. I just had to find out. Afraid to say anything.
Listen, we don't have to be politically correct on this show,
True, I forget.
Yes, this is our show.
And is that down to it? It's our people and our talk.
That's right.
Take care, you get me in trouble.
I got your back. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to be back for 2021 for season 2 of Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis.
And it looks like it's going to be fun. It's going to be some medicine,
Oh, yes.
But a lot of community.
A lot of community. We're going to mix it up.
Mix up this thing.
We're going to mix it up.
Right. And have guests.
Oh, yes.
That could come and maybe the next time, who knows, I might get somebody to come and talk on weight. Remember we had promised?
We spoke about that.
Yeah, on losing weight.
Losing weight.
Gaining weight, yeah.
Well, and January is the perfect month for that discussion.
Why, you're looking at me when you say that?
Oh, look at
Wait, and we didn't even have a big Christmas. You can imagine if we did.
Yes.
I couldn't fit in the seat yet.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis is produced and presented by the Caribbean American Connection. Please look out for us online on social media. We are the Caribbean American Connection. Doc?
Yeah.
Until next time.
Right. And don't forget that downsizing, but still here.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
All right.
We appreciate your time with us on Medically Speaking with Dr. Winston Alexis, hosted by Tyrone Robertson. Join us next Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on caribcast.tv, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and most other popular podcast platforms. Doc is back. Although the host and guests are qualified professionals, they assume no responsibility for inaccuracies, omissions, inconsistencies, and any slight of people or organizations. Listeners should use their own judgment or consult an expert or their personal physician for specific applications to their individual medical problem.